Do you want me to read it?
Yep, read it.
Okay. A century in certain ways is like a life. And as the end of a century approaches, people behave towards that century much as someone who is nearing the end of a life does towards that life. So just as people in their last year spend much time looking back on the events of their life, people at a century's end. So I remember I chose A because I was like, that seems to make sense.
Okay, so before we go into answer choices, let's dive into this a little bit. So we're saying a century in certain ways is like a life, and as the end of a century approaches, people behave towards that century, much as someone who is nearing the end of life does towards that life. So what does that mean in your own words? That first sentence.
So like whenever a century comes to a closing, that people kind of assume it as if like their life is coming towards the end for that chapter or something.
Yeah, so whenever like a century comes, like whenever it's 1999 and a century is coming to a close, we behave towards that century the same way people behave whenever their life is coming towards an end. But we don't know, right? So far, we're just drawing an analogy or comparison. We don't know actually how the people behave yet, right? We just know that they're looking back.
Right.
But then we go on to say, so just as people in their last year time looking back on the events of their life, people at century's end. So what do you think people do at a century's end then, if we're doing the same thing as we do whenever people are ending whenever their life is ending, they look back?
I was assuming that they look back at the century.
At the century's end, people look back on the events of the century, correct? Not of their own life. You picked A and you put reminiscing about their own lives. That's what they do whenever like their life is coming to an end.
Okay.
So, and then B, we're not hearing that their lives are about to end. Focusing on we're not going to focus on what the next century could bring. So then what about D and E? Which one would you pick?
Not E.
Right, because if E was the correct answer, then whenever people are about to die and they're looking back on their life, they would have to be like, what could I have unavoided in my life? They don't do that.
And that makes perfect sense now.
Yep. So that's where I think you probably went a little bit fast. We're just slow down and make sure you have your two things here that or doing our analogy and which one is it asking us about. You guys for the trap answer.
I know. I'm like,